Video today we are going to take a look at the NASDAQ 100 from a technical, order flow, fundamental and a sentiment perspective. Now if you are new to the channel, a sub would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoy the video, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and as always let me know down in the comments below exactly what it is that you would like for me to cover in my next video. Now we are going to start with the technical analysis for the NASDAQ 100. Now firstly, it is quite clear that on Sunday when I spoke about the NASDAQ 100, the market was trading at this level over here. That was the close of Friday. I explained all of the reasons why I could expect that move higher, then the pullback, and that is exactly what had happened. Now if you missed it, I will leave a link in that breakdown that I did in the description below, and that goes for every other stock market that I have basically did a breakdown for. But it's now time for an update. So if you start on the monthly time frame, it's very clear that the market had now basically tested and rejected the strong level of resistance, and it tested it as support. Today is the last day of the month, and we can definitely expect this level of support to hold there as well. But here we do have a little situation here. Now the market is also broken. This level over here acted as a level of support. The market broke below that, tested it as resistance. The resistance got broken here and it's being tested as support. So the market is stuck between these two structures that we can see over here. Further awaiting some very strong data to actually move the market. Now here from the weekly time frame, we have this massive impulse, we have this correction, we have the confluence of this level of support that got broken, that is now testing as resistance. And if you take your Fibonacci from the high to the low, we can see we have the 0.382 pullback. Now because the market's rejecting this from a weekly perspective, it gives us an indication that the downward pressure is quite strong and it is highly expected. However, that's all dependent on what kind of fundamental data is released between tomorrow and the NFP data that's coming out on Friday. Now here on the daily time frame, now it's quite clear that, like I said, when the when I did this breakdown on Sunday, the market was here, and I said all of the reasons for why we can expect that market to go higher, then pull back, and that is exactly what the market had did. Now we are also on the daily time frame. Now this level over here acted as a strong level of resistance. The market broke above that resistance and it's testing it as support. Now we could be in the start of a consolidation phase, right? And the reason why I say so, there's always uncertainty in the market, and the investors always looks for some strong data to decide whether or not they're going to move the market higher or lower. Now we are going to come back to the NASDAQ 100 with the final conclusion. First we can look at some fundamental data. Firstly on CNBC, it says here the stock markets were low on Tuesday as Wall Street resumes trading following the Memorial Day, which was yesterday. That says here that yeah, so it says here while the May job reports is due out on Friday, so it's basically that the market will now wait for the Feds to they ultimately waiting for the NFP, but we got some other data coming through there as well. Secondly, we can see here we've got the PMI that's coming out tomorrow, and we know that historically a PMI below 50% without risk of crash often leads to a wave of strategic purchases and also a strategic decision making by purchasing managers. Keep in mind that a low PMI index can therefore ultimately lead to an increase in the medium term. So you can see here that the forecast for the PMI is sitting at 54.4, which is lower than what it previously was. However, anything above 50% is still acceptable there as well. Other than that, we also have the jobs job openings and the ADP, which is also positive, which is correlated with the NFP, which is what the market's also ultimately waiting for. Next up, we do have the sentiment data. Now the sentiment data tells us what the retail traders are doing in the market. We can see here that 62% of retail traders as of today, because the market only opened today, they are buying the NASDAQ. Not the market didn't open today, as of yesterday. Yesterday was a public holiday, but you get what I'm saying. But 62% of retail traders are long in this market. Now that is a hefty hefty situation if you've got 62% of retail traders long. And for those of you that knows smart money, because I spoke about that last week Friday, there's probably a high possibility that this market can start this meltdown to the downside, but we don't have the fundamental data yet to make that decision. Now, based off where we are at the moment, there's a high possibility that the NASDAQ will get stuck within this level of resistance that got broken, and it's testing as support, and that level of resistance there as well. Now, up until we get that data, which will be tomorrow, only then will we be able to see a clear break below this level, and then on the retest we can see that continuation to the downside for the NASDAQ 100. The buyers on the stock market will forever remain bearish up until we have some concrete data to show that inflation has slowed down, and the only way we'll know that is by looking at the CPI data that gets released on the month-to-month basis. Next up, we are going to look at the COT data, so the commitment of traders, and this tells us what the biggest speculators are doing in the market. So the big banks, hedge funds, and institutions. Now we can see based off the last report, the guys came in and they added another 5,221 longs. They also added another 6,670 shorts. Now you can see here the previous week they closed their sales. They came back and they added a massive 6,600 selling positions. We can see here that the overall net positions decreased from 1,001.7 to minus 1.4 as well, giving us a further indication that the bearish momentum in the NASDAQ is definitely expected. Now, it's important that we are reactive and not predictive. Now, like I said before, high impact news, there's normally a chance that the market could start this consolidation. While alternatively, if we do get a break below this strong level over here, now this level acted as a level of support, market broke above that and it's testing it as resistance. If we do get a daily close and break, a daily break and close below this level of support that was once resistance, all of that support would then be acting as resistance, and only then would we be looking for the selling opportunity for the market to go and continue that 0.382 as expected from a weekly perspective. Alternatively, the market could move sideways until we get the data that we are looking for before this market starts moving. But if you did capitalize on the move for Monday that I did for those breakdowns, then you should probably not be in this market right now, because you would have made enough capital to make sure that you have taken a good opportunity in this market. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from my side. Thank you for your time, and as always, cheers for years.